This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Our goal with our videos is to empower you to be able to do the repairs on your own and save a whole lot of money and also get that great feeling of having fixed it by yourself. Today we have an older Maytag electric dryer that is no longer heating, and it's probably due to a break in this heating element. So we have ordered the new part. Here's the part number. You can get these at Amazon. They're pretty cheap, about $30. It's just basically a long spring, and over the years these get hot, cold, and after a while they break. When they break, they don't carry the electricity anymore, and they just don't get hot. So if yours is not heating, this might be the problem. I'm going to pull out the 220 plug. You could also turn off the breaker. Just want to make sure you don't have any power. And this is pretty easy procedure. We're just going to remove a couple of screws from the front panel, one here in the lower left and the lower right. Once you have out the screws, you can just grab the bottom of the front panel and pull it towards you until the panel is about 45 degrees away from the frame, and then the upper clips will just come right out, the ones that are holding it in at the top. It's a pretty cool design. Comes right out. Get that out of the way. And then we have good access to where the thermostats are. We want to make sure that they have continuity. So we have a little continuity tester that beeps, and we're going to put these on the outside terminals of this thermostat, and then also on the next one over. And there's a high limit cutoff here on the burner tube, and we're testing that too, and that has continuity. When we test the legs of the element, though, we don't get a good reading, so probably have a break in the element, and we're going to get to it pretty easily. We're going to remove a couple of the screws here that are holding on this burner tube casing. We got these two, pull them out, and then we can take this front heat deflector off. Just comes right out at the top. And then we have to do a little bit more disassembly. We're going to take out one little 1/4 inch screw right here at the bottom. There's also one in the very back, and it's up at about 1 o'clock, and we're going to take out that one. We're using an extension to reach way back there to get that one screw out. So you could take out the housing at this point, but there's a few wires you got to disconnect. We're going to disconnect this one here at the top of the high limit, and then this black one, we're going to disconnect that by using some pliers to loosen up the brass nut, spin off that nut, and then that's going to allow us to take that black wire off. So we should be able to pull out this whole burner tube now. This is where the heating element lives. And we've got all the screws out, we've got the wires disconnected. Also, while I have it in here, I'm going to take out a couple of the little brass nuts on the inside too that are holding the element in. You could do this now, or you could wait till you get the whole assembly out. Either way, I kind of like doing it here because it's a little bit more stable. So we're just loosening up that one nut here at the bottom. And get that one off. Alright, grab the whole big assembly, pull it out so we can work on it a little bit easier. And we're going to split this thing in half. There's 4 little 1/4 inch screws that are holding it together. It's 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. Get those off, and then we can split the case in half, and it makes it really easy to get to the element. I'd like to take a picture of how the element is strung inside before I remove the old spring, the old element. So I separate it, get my camera, take a couple of pictures just as a reference. And this spring is strewn through these little ceramic pieces. Here's actually the part number and the link at Amazon for getting a hold of that new part. Pretty cheap. But these ceramic holders are keeping the metal away from the outside case. You do not want the metal spring to touch at any point. The metal case should only be in contact with the white ceramic pieces that don't conduct electricity. If the spring were to touch the frame, it could cause a short circuit or cause the heater to basically just be on all the time. So we got the pulled out the old spring, and now we're installing the new one, tightening it up on that first terminal, and now I'm going to string it down through these ceramic insulators. When I first put this through, I did a good job, but it was a little too loose. Every time I would go through an insulator, there was a bit of too much slack from one insulator to the other. So when you're doing this, pull the spring fairly taut before you go to the next one. So I kind of ran out of room. I had to go back and stretch it a little bit. So this is just a little bit too loose. I should try to get a few more, maybe 2 more inches by pulling it a little more taut. But now I'll go to the next one, next one, next one, just crisscross this back and forth. So we're down to the next insulator. Once again, when you do this, pull it a little tighter than what I'm showing here in the video. If you don't, it's okay. You just at the end, you may not have enough spring left, and you may have to go back and just slightly pull each one a little tighter. I just want to save you some time by getting it right the first time by going a little tighter as you go through each insulator. You can also buy the entire assembly. It comes with this spring thing and a new case, and they're anywhere from $50 to $90. This does take a few minutes to string all this through, and if you buy the new one, that's already done for you. Then once you do the first half, then you string it through that last insulator, and then you're going to go over to the next half at the bottom, and you're going to start in on that insulator and then work your way up to the top of the second half. I would say the spring is a good 20 to 30 years old, and it was still going until it broke, so that's really impressive. So hopefully this new one will give the customer a good 10 years maybe. It's a pretty old dryer already. So I got the second half, and I'm just going to string it up from the bottom toward the top. If you have a little trouble remembering how it's done, take a look at your photographs that you took, and it'll be a good reference. I'm just tightening up the one that went to the very top is on the second half. I'm going to put the two halves together, and I'm going to join them by putting those 4 screws back in. I'm also putting this wire back on the terminal on the high limit. I'm looking in there, taking a look, everything looks good. I got to make sure that there's no point that metal spring touches the metal case or I'll get a short circuit. So before you install it, just reconfirm that everything is in position and the spring is only touching those white ceramic insulators. Getting those little 1/4" screws back in. This dryer is from a time when Maytag really made a super good product, and they were very tough, and they just lasted, many of them, 20 to 30 years. Very impressive. Okay, looks pretty good. We're ready to reinstall it. Putting it back in the dryer, I'm gonna push it back into the ducting there in the back of the dryer. It's going to fit into that big hole, and I'm going to make sure that the little connector is up at the 1 o'clock position, and I'll put a 1/4" screw back in that holds that in position. I'm going to use an extension again to reach way back there. Get that tight. And then I'm going to tighten up the 1/4" screw that holds the front of it down to the dryer frame right here. And I got all the reassembly done, and it worked great. So I hope this helps you and gets your dryer going and gets you anywhere between 10 and 30 years with your old Maytag. So thanks again for watching, and please subscribe when you get a chance. Thanks again.